Okay, Pip and I are going to review a film, a Blu-ray of the film that we watched on the weekend, which actually has made it into our top 10 for last year. We did a top 10 for 2015 video earlier in the year, and there's actually been two changes since we did that, as I expected there would be. One of them was the German film Victoria has pushed its way into the top 10 of last year, and the other one is Love and Mercy, the story of Brian Wilson, which we enjoyed quite a bit, didn't we? On IMDb you might see this as a 2014 release, but really it only had one festival screening in the late 2014 and didn't get released anywhere, even limited, until 2015, so it really is a 2015 film, and really quite wonderfully put together. Now Brian Wilson, of course, is the brains behind the Beach Boys, and he's the one who sort of pushed them away from their bubblegum roots and into some really elaborate songwriting, and he had a lot of problems in his life, and this film shows his life in two different eras. One in the closing years of his time with the Beach Boys, and one many years later, trying to recover from his problems. And there are some quite sinister elements about in this true story, and from all my research I've done and with interviews, people, it's a very accurate film, not only to the period but to the real events. The only things that were changed were some, they crunched the time here and there to make it flow more in a better narrative, and they did a couple of composite characters to make the narrative easier to tell. But a quality film about an interesting story, and I always like stories about real musicians, and this is of course no different. Now Paul Dano plays Brian Wilson in the earlier years, Paul Dano from There Will Be Blood, and in the latter years he's played by John Cusack from, of course, High Fidelity, among many others. They both do a great job, and the whole cast does a great job, and it's shot really well, it's intriguing all the way through, really good film. Now what I'm really here to do is review the Blu-ray, which I just picked up after watching it. I thought I looked online to see how much would be to get it after seeing it, because I wanted to have it and check the special features, etc. And it was very cheap, going at a hot price up till February 10th. So managed to just get in there before the price got put back up. 15 New Zealand dollars, so that's about 10 American dollars, I guess. The sound I'd probably give a solid 4.5 out of 5. 5.1 DTS HD master, has a lot of surround activity, so it works really well. And the picture I'd maybe give a 4 out of 5. I just do feel that some of the colours looked a little bit, I don't know if it's the original intention, I never saw it at the cinema, but sometimes just looked a little off. It didn't look quite as sharp as I thought it might have, but I don't think it was an overly expensive film with a large budget, so perhaps it is accurate, but that was my feeling when I was watching it, even compared to the stream I watched it on, so still a good transfer. The special features are quite excellent. You have an audio commentary with the director and producer. You have a almost 11-minute making of called A California Story, which talks a lot about the production of Love and Mercy, and then another featurette which is somewhere between 25 minutes and half an hour, called Side A, Side B, the portraying of the life of Brian Wilson, talking with Paul Dano and John Cusack about their portrayal and their preparation, and also some interesting deleted scenes, not just throwaway ones, actually some quite interesting ones, including quite a funny one where Brian Wilson's character meets Phil Spector. It's all the same special features and the same audio-visual, I believe, as the American and British releases. Something interesting to note, this wasn't actually the cover I saw when I picked it up. The cover that they had displayed was this one, which, to be honest, I don't care for. But, and you can see there it has the New Zealand rating sticker on it. But had a much preferable cover on the inside, which actually has the Australian rating sticker on it. So I switched it around straight away, obviously, when I realised, when I opened it up to look at the disc, that it had this cool cover, which is the same as some of the overseas releases. So looking at the box office returns and the only limited release it got, this might be underseen, but I recommend music lovers, and you don't have to be a fan of the Beach Boys to enjoy the story. I have seen a few documentaries about the Beach Boys and Brian Wilson and the making of certain of their records, and it was a 1990 TV miniseries about their life, which was more focused on the brother who died drowning than it was on Brian Wilson, which was quite interesting back in the day. And there was a more recent one in the early 2000s, which is not supposed to be so good, which I haven't been able to track down to watch, but I'd be interested. But you know, this is a step above those who were made for TV. This is a real cinematic experience, and recommend.